It's rare that I go live on my public page. I'm just going to give it a second because it always takes a little while to tell me I'm actually live. Now I'm actually live. Sometimes it just never even goes to live and I talk to myself. So normally I go live in my groups and my private membership, but I thought this came into my mind because it's so important, and it was raised with a client of mine yet again regarding absorption and HRT. So I wanted to raise it with you. Now, you will be able to tell from the fact I've just rocked up today and the fact I'm wearing this little summer top. Well, actually it's a dress and it's raining outside, that I don't tend to plan things. I just tell you things as they come into my head. And also this afternoon I am going to an outdoor spa, cold pool plunge and sauna event. So yeah, it's raining and doesn't look like it's going to be sunny anytime soon. So planning is not my strong point. However, HRT is my strong point. So I thought I'd pop on because it'll be very, very quick. I want you to know that the fallacy of maximum licensed dose, well, it's not a fallacy, but the phrase maximum licensed dose is very, very misused in the medical world by doctors who don't understand how HRT works, how hormones work, how menopause works. Now, many of my clients and community are what we would term poor absorbers. It's really not that unusual. So when you're using estrogen gel or the patches or the spray, Lenzetto spray, just as key examples, you'll find that some women are absolutely fine on below the licensed maximum dose. So that will be less than, it's reduced again, it used to be less than 100 patch, now it's less than a 75 patch would be sort of within that maximum medium range dose. But many women find that on the same sort of dose, even on the higher doses, they just aren't having that relief from symptoms. And that is most of the time, because their skin is doing a really good job of being skin. Skin's job is to keep the bad stuff out of the inside of your body. So if you're a poor absorber, you've got great skin. Yay, great for your skin. It's doing a fantastic job. However, it's doing a shit job of allowing your HRT to get into your system. Now, you will probably be told by your doctor, no, you can't go above the maximum licensed dose. We're not even going to discuss it. So if you're on, let's say, 100 microgram patch, just as an example, or 4 pumps of the gel, the estrogen gel, no, we can't go above that dose and there's no discussion to be had. Well, first of all, the guidelines very clearly say that we should be going based on symptoms management. So that's wrong to start with. We should be looking at whether or not the dose you're on manages your symptoms. If it doesn't manage your symptoms, that doesn't mean HRT isn't for you. It doesn't mean the hormones hate you. It doesn't mean that you have to suffer. It's really worth saying to your doctor, I hear you, but I would like to try a slightly higher dose, even for just a few months, just to see how I feel. Most of the time, majority of the time, if you are a poor absorber and that is the reason that your symptoms aren't being managed on X dose, you will start to feel a bit better. Happens all the time. I'm on quite a high dose of estrogen. Yes, I've had a hysterectomy and that's a whole different conversation, but I'm on 150 micrograms. And honestly, if they try and take that extra 50 off me, I will fight them to the death. I mean, there is absolutely no way. A few months ago, I can't remember why, but I had cause to reduce it to 125. And my husband will attest to the fact that I had headaches, and I don't get headaches generally. I had headaches, I felt really fuzzy headed, which is one of my symptoms of menopause. And he just said, will you just get that extra patch on? So don't be put off when you're told, oh, it's really dangerous, you can't go above the maximum licensed dose, because in most cases that is not true. If you're not absorbing effectively, then your systemic, your body levels are not going to be high anyway. So you're not that estrogen is bad for you. Hey Rachel, not that estrogen is bad for you. That would be a ridiculous thing to say, wouldn't it? But your levels are not going to be higher than somebody who isn't a poor absorber anyway. So ask for a blood test just to sort of see where your levels are, if you feel that's necessary, if the doctor feels that's necessary. But essentially, this should be going on how you feel. And if you're not getting any sense, obviously, I'm here. You can ask me. The other thing, just to finish on this, because I am going to blabber on about this for a long time, if allowed to. A lot of doctors will say, a lot of medics will say, you can't have vaginal estrogen for your symptoms of menopause in your most intimate areas and in your bladder because you're on systemic, i.e. sort of whole body HRT, so patches, gel, etc. Well, that's not true. It's completely not true, because it's been evidenced again and again and again that having the vaginal estrogen, whether that's a pessary or whether that's a cream or a gel, does not increase your systemic estradiol levels. Therefore, there's no increased risk anyway. But there is no increased risk. So, saying to you, you can have one or the other. You can either have your patches or your estradiol gel, or you can have vaginal estrogen, is completely wrong. If you need both, you need both. The end game is that you would like to be able to be on a decent enough dose of your main HRT so that you don't necessarily need to have two lots because you've got enough estrogen in your system so that everything's being managed. So you don't need the vaginal estrogen, but many women need both. Yeah, it's just a matter of knowing that. Go to your doctor, tell them that you are not happy with that decision and you would like to try, even on a trial basis, you would like to try an increased dose. Obviously, it's very individual. Of course, I can't give individual advice on here, but hopefully that gives you something so that you can advocate for yourself. Be good if you could just easily get what you want, wouldn't it? That would be amazing. Anyway, have a lovely day. Bye.